Do you remember when you were at school how it seemed much better to ask the kid on the next desk the answer to a question rather than ask the teacher? So here I am, a novice archer and bowmaker who makes videos of all my stumblings and learning. But people keep asking me questions. How do you make a bow? How do you fletch arrows? Things I hardly know anything about. And here's one from Jasper. How do you make a bowstring? So, I think if you're going to make your first ever bowstring, you should make one of these. It's called a single loop Flemish twist, and its great advantages are you need no tools, you need no jig, and you need, as I'm going to prove, hopefully in the next few minutes, to hardly know what you're doing. So, what is a single loop Flemish twist bowstring? Well, at one end there is absolutely nothing. In this end you tie a bowyer's knot, sometimes called a timber hitch, and that slips over one knock of the bow. On the other end is your single loop. This can slide up and down the bow stave, and when you're ready to brace the bow, you bend the bow and slide that loop onto the knock at the other end of the bow. Now the actual construction of this bowstring is achieved by twisting either 2 or 3 bundles of material together. Today I'm using Dacron B50, a material I've found ideal for traditional bows ranging from maybe 40 pounds draw weight up to 80 pounds draw weight. If your bow is of a higher draw weight than that, you might wish to use fast flight. The technique's just the same, but in my experience you need a loop at either end of the string, not the bowyer's knot that I'm going to show you how to tie later on. The string I'm making today is like this one. It's 2-ply, that is, it's made from 2 bundles of equal size of Dacron B. Perhaps if I untwist it you can see the 2 separate bundles. Okay, let's make a start building this Flemish twist bowstring. Firstly, you need your Dacron B or similar material and a cake of beeswax. Also, it's really handy to have a tape rule if you've got one, or some other measuring device, and a knife or a pair of scissors come in really useful to cut the string material. Each bundle of this bowstring is made from a number of strands of Dacron B50. It depends on the draw weight of the bow how many strands are used. Today I shall be making a string suitable for an 80-pound bow, and I will be using 8 strings per bundle, so a total of 16 strands in this bowstring. I like to use my bowstrings on a variety of bows, always long bows. So I measure the distance from knock to knock of the unstrung bow and add 20 inches. This gives me plenty of flexibility about how I use the string and upon what bow I want to fit it. I can also use it as a tillering string during the making of self bows. Okay, let's start making this bowstring. First job is to cut the Dacron B50. I need 2 bundles, each of 8 strands. This new string is going to be fitted to this, an 86-pound triple laminate longbow. The distance from knock to knock is 78 inches, so I'm going to cut my bundles to the length of 98 inches. To do this you can just measure one length of your bowstring material and then cut all the rest to exactly the same length. Alternatively, you can use 2 clamps or 2 nails the correct distance apart and just wrap the bowstring material around those 2 points and cut each end. Okay, that's 2 bundles of Dacron B50, each comprising 8 strands with an overall length of 98 inches. From now on it's really important that each bundle is managed very carefully so that all the strands lie side by side without any kink. Now Dacron B50 has got a very waxy finish which helps the strands stick together, but I like to add to that by running beeswax along the entire length of each bundle. This helps keep the strands together. We're now ready to start forming our loop. Hold the bundles side by side like this, line up the tips and measure back about 9 inches from the ends. At the 9-inch point, pinch them together with your finger and thumb. We form the loop by twisting each bundle in one direction and then counter twisting them together in the other. First, take one bundle and twist it towards you, and then pinch it in between your fingers. Take the other bundle and twist that towards you also. Fold it over the other one, pinch that between your fingers. Twist the original bundle again towards you and fold that. Twist again 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 and fold that. You can now see the bowstring beginning to form. Continue in this way for about 20 twists. This is forming the main body of the bowstring loop. You now have the basis of your single loop. Check that it fits over the nock of your bow and reduce or increase the size accordingly. You should now have this: the loop, 2 tail ends which are about 3.5 to 4 inches long, and the 2 bundles lying side by side. For the next stage, take one of the tail ends and lie it alongside one of the bundles, like so. Take the other tail end and do the same. You now have that: a tail end lying alongside a bundle and the other tail end lying alongside the adjacent bundle. You now continue as you did before. You take one bundle and twist it towards you and lap it over the other bundle, and then twist that towards you, like so. Twist towards you, pinch, twist towards you, fold over, twist, fold over, twist, fold over, twist, fold over. You should now have this. Continue twisting and folding. Twist and fold. Twist and fold. Make sure you keep the bundles well separated. They will tangle if you're not careful. Continue to twist and fold, and eventually the tag ends will taper down into your bowstring. Eventually the tail ends will disappear. Continue to twist and fold the 2 bundles together as you did at the beginning. Don't be too worried about these ragged ends here, they can be trimmed off later. At this stage I like to put some more beeswax along the tail of the loop, and there is your single loop for your bowstring. It's now important to make sure all the strands lie alongside each other. I just stretch it out carefully, pinch it, stretch some more out until I reach the end of the bowstring here. I like to finish these bowstrings with a fairly tight twist at the end, so I've measured 10 inches back from the tip, and I will once again twist towards me, fold, twist towards me, fold. When I've reached the end of the bowstring, I tie a small knot just to hold the bundles together. Of course, this is the very simplest form of bowstring, but it's a great introduction for beginners. All I have to do now is step on one end of the string, twist it and wax it, and it's ready for fitting on the bow. This is how to tie a bowyer's knot, sometimes called a timber hitch. I'm going to show you slightly oversized to start with, so you can see the technique. Form a loop and pass the tail of the string back through that loop. You should now have this. Then twist the tail around part of the loop, like that. And that is a bowyer's knot. Dacron B50 is very stretchy, so when you first brace your bow, do expect the string to stretch. So there it is, a single loop Flemish twist bowstring. All that it needs now is serving just here. And if you want me to show you how to do that, put a comment below. Well, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.